We're actually going live today. I'm uh, going to talk about herbs because I had a request to talk about biblical herbs and growing herbs and how they're mentioned in the Bible. And uh, I'm doing this for Alex over in Uganda in Kampala. And I had a request to do this. So I'm in a little room now and I'm doing this uh, study on the easiest herbs to grow for beginners or for the first time. If you're new to growing plants or an experienced gardener looking to experience your collection of herb plants that you grow or plants that you grow, herbs are the perfect solution because herbs do more than just help us season food and make fresh teas and herbal teas. They also can be very pretty flowering flowers. Many of them are perennials, not annuals, and they come back year after year. And the majority of the ones I'm going to talk about are so easy to grow that as long as they have a little bit of water, they're going to grow and mature and be beautiful for you. So, when given the correct amount of light, enough water, and an occasional bit of fertilizer, they can be used for culinary, drinking, and medical purposes. So, here are some very easy teas to grow. No matter where you are in the world, if you're in the States, in California, or on the East Coast, or if you're in South America, or Liberia, Kenya, Uganda, or even in some extremely cold climates, most of these herbs can be grown uh, year round. You can bring them in your house if in a cold climate. Stormy, you can bring them in a cold climate. Several things I recommend is I recommend instead of planting a lot of your plants on the ground, if you can afford it, buy burlap bags to plant your plants in, 3 to 5 gallon. You can move them around. If you're getting a very stormy period, you can move them under a roof. If it's going to be very cold, you can move them under a roof and cover them up. You can leave them out to get full sun. You can move them to where the sun's the best, depending on the time of year. So a burlap container, most of them have handles. They're very cheap. You can buy 10 or 12 of them for about 15 bucks, 3 gallon, 20 bucks for the 5 gallon. And they're very easy. You can be cleaned out at the end of the year or reused, or you can just keep your plants growing in them year round, depending on where you are. One of the best things about growing herbs is their versatility. Most can be grown either inside or outside in containers with potting soil or planted directly in the ground. I just prefer the raised garden idea of the bags. Um, we're going to talk about what are some of the simplest herbs. Again, um, some of the easiest herbs to grow. One is sage. Sage is used commonly in poultry dishes, chicken, stuffing, great for Thanksgiving and Christmas dinners. Um, it's primarily used in cooking. It's a very strong plant. It needs 6 to 8 hours of sunlight every day. It's a very pretty plant. Um, You can grow it inside under grow lights. I had some growing all winter when the temperatures went below freezing here in the states, and I brought it inside to set it under a grow light in 70-degree weather. It's a very good companion to culinary companion. It is also used in some teas. It's used in creamed beef and gravy, breakfast foods. It's used in primary though in chicken stuffing and. It's a very easy, one of the most easy herbs. Also has a pretty purple flower or red flower. You can see common on sage. Parsley is a multifunctional classic Italian herb that's proven itself worthy in a culinary herb and for practical purposes. Parsley. I've been growing parsley uh, for a while now, and it's very easy to grow. Um, got curly leaf parsley is very common, or the flat leaf parsley. It has a very robust flavor, very easy to grow parsley. Oregano, there's many types of oregano. I have Cuban oregano right now growing outside. It's a very thick leaf. It's very, very strong smelling oregano smell if you smell it. It's very difficult to dry, to reuse uh, after the season's over, so it's best used fresh. but there's so many other types of oregano: Greg oregano, Italian oregano, Mediterranean oregano. It's commonly used in Mediterranean and Mexican dishes. Very easy to grow indoors and outdoors. It's a perennial plant. It will come back year after year and it spreads like wildfire. In other words, if you plant one small pot of it, the next year you're going to have two small pots, space wise. It's going to grow very quickly. Um, does light and well drained soil, likes to, can do well without watering for a while. Um, it does best if you frequently harvest it and dry it. It's a great herb. I still got some from last year. Um, I'm using for cooking. You never can have enough oregano in cooking chicken dishes, soup dishes, whether you're cooking Thai, Mexican, Italian, and even some African dishes, etc. Oregano is a great herb to have. It's very robust, great on salads. Again, you can grow it indoors and keep it uh, growing year round. In the States, when it goes below freezing, it will die out as fall comes and colder weather comes. Mint, this is one of my favorite. There's so many types of mint: peppermint, spearmint, chocolate mint, sage mint. Um, the list goes on and on. There's probably dozens of types of mint, just dozens. And mint will invade your garden. Mint comes back year after year. I had several mints growing over the winter, so it didn't die back. Chocolate mint and peppermint. I also got some more peppermint started. Uh, Remember, peppermint is not just mint. Peppermint has a different, slightly minty flavor than just regular mint. Mint is typically known for putting a leaf or something in tea or making green tea. But peppermint green tea is different than mint green tea. Okay. Chocolate mint has a slight chocolate smell and taste to it. Awesome. It can become a nuisance in the garden if you let it take over. I have some in a garden about 2 feet wide by about 10 feet long, mixed with oregano, and I let them grow together. If you let them go to seed, then more seeds are going to drop, and you're just going to have more and more and more mint. I also have some chocolate mint, peppermint, grown separately in 3-gallon containers so I can move them around. And I harvest these, dry them in a dehydrator, and save them for teas throughout the year. I make my harvest the leaves during the summer, late spring, summer, and fall months, and then I have a lot of mint, peppermint, chocolate mint to add to different types of green teas that I make. So it's really a easy to grow herb, and it's extremely easy to grow. There's about 2 dozen species and thousands of varieties and flavors and characteristics, but the common ones are peppermint, chocolate mint, and spearmint. Have broad green leaves that release a particular distinctive menthol based scent, and very easy to dry, very easy to grow, spreads rapidly, grows very quick, and you can get a lot of tea from a little bit of mint. Thyme. Thyme bears heady aromatic leaves on a low growing evergreen type of plant. The flavor depends on the variety chosen, but it's commonly used in meat dishes, soups, and stews. Let the soil dry out. It's best planted in clay, but I find, again, I like to grow things in burlap containers. It's so easy. You can move them around and bring them in the winter. You can't bring the outside in. The plant despises having soggy roots. Prune back woody stems, regularly snip the tips of the plant to encourage new growth. Can be a bushy plant, and it's a great seasoning overall to use in any meat dishes, soups, and stews. Keep in mind, all food needs to have seasoning. Dill. Dill plants are popular with gardeners who pickle their own vegetables. You ever put away and pickle cucumbers and turn them into pickles? Oh, yeah. Pickles come from cucumbers. So just think about this. Dill is used with that. So it's great for container garden, great for growing in containers. It's a cool season herb. Dill plants need temperatures above 60 to grow, between 60 and 75. Grow dill outdoors in the spring and fall when temperatures are lower, or in a spot in your home in the summer. It does not do well in very hot temperatures, 80 degrees and above. Just keep that in mind. It's a cool season plant, but it won't grow below like 60. Most of these herbs will grow above 40 as long as they don't freeze. If mint started to grow, for example, or oregano, it won't die if you get a frost. It will just set it back a little bit. Chives is sort of in the onion family, so easy to grow. Instead of an onion being a big round thing, chives just grow in small little shoots like bamboo. A mild member of the onion family, imparting a subtle flavor in many dishes, omelets, salads, potato salad. Water plants frequency to keep them growing, keep the soil moist but never soaking in water. They can grow up to 12 inches tall, and they can grow actually very wide across a big plot. Pot them in containers wide enough to accommodate their growth harvest when stems reach at least 6, but no uh, larger than 12, but leave 2 inches above the soil so they can continue to grow because you can continue eating them throughout the season. Yes, throughout the season. You know, if you like Mexican food, for example, everyone's heard of cilantro. It's from the parsley family. It's flavors food in place of salt because most of us should eat less salt. It's commonly used in Asian dishes, South American dishes, and Mexican dishes. Seeds from cilantro plants are also known as coriander. So cilantro will give you the flower or the parsley, the leaves, and it also gives you a seed when it goes to seed, and that's a coriander herb. So you get two herbs from the one plant. Hallelujah, this is awesome. To get the best plants possible, do not transplant coriander plants from outside into containers and bring them inside. If you want to grow plants indoors, germinate the seeds or buy starter plants from a nursery, water soil, and let it dry out before you water it again. But it's a great season and it's relatively expensive if you go buy the uh, leaves in a store. Lemongrass, lemongrass tea, very common. It has a lemony scent. If people like lemon in their tea or drink a lot of teas or they like it in their herbal teas, this is great to mix with mints and other herbs for drinking tea. It has a citrusy flavor, lemon orange type of flavor. It's used worldwide in various ways, but commonly for the delicate flavor and tender shoots and leaves in culinary dishes. Plants thrive in full sun. When growing indoors, place them in the south window where they can get 6 to 8 hours of sun. You might have to put a grow light. Thrives outside in the summer heat. Just give it a little bit of water. I grow lemongrass. It's used in a lot of teas and stuff. I grow it. It's a very pretty herb, very easy to grow. Thrives in your garden. Bay laurel. I've never grown bay laurel. It's more of an evergreen tree or shrub used in casseroles and stews. It can grow 5 or 6 feet tall. Needs sunlight. Uh, Misted occasionally. It likes misting the leaves, not just watering the soil, because it likes humidity. Basil. Oh my gosh, there's tons of basils. Thai basils. Greek basil. Basil is a key role in all cooking, especially when you're cooking with tomatoes or pasta dishes. Basil, 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 basil. Extra leaves preserve extremely well by freezing or dehydrating. Basil plants naturally grow well outside, but it's an annual. It won't grow back the next year. So, if you live in a warm climate where it stays warm year round, it would just keep on growing. And then eventually you might need to replace it with a fresh plant, but you'll get plenty of seeds off the basil. So, if you live in a warm temperate climate, just let the flower drop seeds and more basil will keep coming up and it'll just keep growing and thriving in the hot summertime conditions. Um, and then it halts in winter if it gets cold. As the temperatures drop, if you live in that type of climate. Dehydrating is extremely easy, very fast growing. I recommend Thai basil, lemon basil, Greek basil. very strong smelling, very good in food, excellent to dry, um, and not a herb you can drink. Um, Mullein. Now, no one's probably heard of this. Mullien. Mullein can grow 5 to 6 to 7, 8 foot tall, grow very big leaves, very pretty yellow flowers. It can very straight up erect type of plant, not real wide, but you plant one or two in a small area, you get a very big tall plant away from it. I plant 4 or 5 seeds in a little container and just keep them in there, and then throw that into a burlap bag or into the ground, and you'll have some very nice mullein. Mullein is a great tea if you're sick, have a cold, sore throat. Mullein tea is awesome, very easy to dry, very, very easy to grow, very fast growing. Mullein, Mullien. If you live anywhere in the country, I'd be very happy to send you some of these seeds that I've talked about, especially like the mullein. High pot's another one. Hyssop, double SOP. High pot's another great, very pretty plant. It has purple flowers. It grows about 15 to 18 inches tall. High pots. Um, Nasterium. Oh, Nasterium has beautiful flowers. The whole plant's edible, the stems and leaves and the flowers. I typically dry the stem or the leaves and the flowers. The leaves are red and orange and yellow. Dehydrate them. Excellent tea for curing just about anything. Nasterium. Nasterium tea. Okay. High pots tea. Okay. Mullein tea. Okay. Another really good, cool trick is it's relatively easy to grow lemon trees. You can get lemons in about the second to the third year. Most trees, when they first start to give them, you're going to get 4 or 5. The next year, you're going to get 7 or 8 or 10 lemons, full size lemons. A cool little trick here is you buy a lemon in the store, there's a lot of seeds in it. Take the seeds, put them in your windowsill, let them dry. Once they dry, take a wet paper towel, wet it, put the seeds in the paper towel, fold it up, let it sit in a cool place for 3 or 4 days. Take the seeds out, put in some good potting soil, possibly with fertilizer, into a plastic cup or a small container. Put the seed on top of the soil, put another half inch on top of that. Water it, keep it watered, put it in direct sunlight for a little while, water it, sunlight, water it, it will come up. And by a year or two, you're going to have some beautiful, beautiful lemon trees. You can also do this with orange trees. I've tried growing the orange trees. I have 2 lemon trees now. Um, Really awesome. I'm growing some Vietnamese fruit trees right now. A friend gave me how they grow little green fruit. I'll post some pictures of these on my Facebook page if anyone's interested. Again, some really awesome herbs to grow is the we talked about it very first is your Cuban oregano, which spreads like wildflower, beautiful velvet type of leaves, and it grows and grows and grows. If you live in a temperate climate where it doesn't go below 40, the plant will just thrive and be invasive in your garden. Very pretty. No flowers, but 3 or 4 colored green leaves, nice long stems, and they will just keep on growing and growing and meandering all about. Very strong smell. You can pick the leaves; they're edible. Put it in your Italian food, your pasta dishes, anything with tomato base, soups, etc. And again, if anyone wants more information on these herbs, please email me, message me, and I'll be glad to give you anything and everything I can give you. Um, Again, basils, oreganos, great for cooking, sage, for teas, all your mints, lemongrass, lemon balm, wow, mullein, great for teas. Uh, um, you can grow the hibiscus plant, great for teas. High pots, great for teas. Nasterium, great for teas. And plantain is another one good for teas. It grows as a weed most places, but it's sort of like a salad looking leaf. So, go on the internet, research the herbs. They will tell you where to grow them, how to grow them. And again, if anyone's looking for some seeds, I can mail mail someone, half dozen of each type of seed and give you instructions. Have a blessed day, everyone. God bless each and every one of you.